hear your question, you can direct it to an individual panelist or to the entire panel if you choose. And we're going to start on this side of the room since he's standing over here. So if you want to raise your hand if you have a question, and he'll walk to you with a microphone.
Okay, I'll just add one more thing to that. If you go off, you're trying to make a speech, do weird things, I'm going to take
write a book, get on a panel.
I'm going to take the microphone away. We have a distinguished panel here. They're ready to answer your questions. It's not for you to get up and make your own dissertation, okay?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Question is for Mr. Richard Hoagland. Yesterday I saw, a couple of days ago, I saw a very interesting documentary called Free Energy Race to 0 Point. So you have any comments about that? It's a very interesting documentary.
0 point is another term for the torsion field. One of the problems in all of this, and I forget who it was who said we have a language, was it you, Sean? We have a language problem?
Yeah.
We're basically talking about the same stuff, but each group, each individual sometimes has a different terminology. And one of the things that I'm proposing as I meet various friends at this conference is it's time to create a think tank. We need to bring folks, you and us, together in some formal institutional framework, like Brookings, like Rand, that will bring some of these really extraordinary ideas that we can now prove work, not only at the technical level. I mean, there's no reason why we should be stuck with fossil fuels. The only reason, of course, is because somebody, the Halliburtons and the Cheneys of the world, make a lot of money by keeping us all thinking that energy is not available from beyond 3 dimensions and that could free every human being on Earth, human being. It's all about control.
Where's the money in that?
Money and control,
Yeah,
exactly.
J.P. Morgan said.
J.P. Morgan and Tesla and the whole thing. So what I think we need now in the era of the Internet and of global satellite television is we need an anomalistic think tank. It can't be just about UFOs. It can't be just about 2012. It can't be just about free energy. It has to be about all this stuff. And there's enough of us experts and enough of us generalists, and certainly more than enough of you, to where we could create a real-world 3D institution that would demand and get equal time on Olbermann and Matthews. I mean, what's interesting to me is to see how much Cheney and what's his name, Scooter Libby, were following what Matthews was trying to point out before the run-up to the first war with Iraq, that Saddam Hussein had not gone to Africa to get yellow cake to build. And they were obsessively paying attention to this one program to the point now that the transcripts of that program have been entered into evidence in the trial of Scooter Libby, who, those of you who may have been on another planet in the last few years, was the chief of staff of Vice President Dick Cheney. Darth Vader, Dick Cheney. Well, I get those two confused sometimes.
One of the authors of the New American Century.
New American Century. The whole point is that if we were to create a world institution that would play by their rules, meaning we would publish white papers and we would hold conferences and we would be able to demand, because the media has an insatiable maw for interesting stuff, and that curve is rising as we get closer to 2012, we could put these ideas on the mainstream plate, and enough of those people now will be paying attention that that act alone could make meaningful differences, particularly when you balance that balance pan between free energy, oil wars. Free energy, oil wars. Oh, now that's a choice, isn't it?
Next question.
Good afternoon. This question is for Richard Hoagland. A friend of mine who worked at NASA, or still works at NASA as a researcher there for a long time now, told me a related story about the fake Mars. I was wondering if you could comment on it.
Okay.
The story was that it originated as a practical joke coming out of the office that this person worked at, and that the paper was placed on this anonymous person's desk, and that person took it to the news, and then there was kind of a hush-hush about discussing it with the news because they didn't want the public to think that they were jokers in NASA. I was wondering if you could comment on that. Thank you.
It's a story.
Yeah,
It's
'cause
wrong.
they got such a sense of humor over there.
Yes. They're really, such jokers at JPL. No, it's obviously disinformation. The face on Mars and the civilization around it would boggle even Danien's mind if he could walk through the ruins.
And they have water there, too.
They sure do. Next question.
Hey, Daniel, and wonderful to hear about the ruins and the wisdom in Belize and Mexico, Okinawa, and so forth. But if we look into the mountains of California and Utah, Arizona, Nevada, Sierra Nevada, don't we have similar wisdom here? How do we find that?
Is this Robert?
Yeah, it is.
Is that Robert Livingston? Anyway,
Well,
Nope.
go ahead.
I'd call Richard Hoagland. But, here's the whole point. It's everywhere.
Yes.
The Hopis have legends that match the Indus Valley. Okay, that in Chile they have the same story as they have in what's called the Borg Saga in the Baltic Sea. What really matters is the excitement and the passion to search. Like for me, I get so fixated, I get so excited to go anywhere someone tells me these ruins exist. And I'm pretty amazed. I've been around Richard and Betty and Sean, and she's new to me, but I've been around these guys a long time, and they click something in me just now that really frames it for me in such a way that I'm not a big reincarnationist. Okay, I'm not that, because when I had my near-death experience, there never was anything about reincarnation. Other than being around Raymond and Brian Weiss and Winifred Lucas. But how brilliant if there weren't other cultures or extraterrestrial or whatever it is, how brilliant it is for us to frame that we would be smart enough to build such amazing things that when we saw it again in the future, we would alert ourselves to the change and shift that's coming that is so documented and so recorded, this 26,000-year cycle. No one knew about this stuff. The fact that the Mayans knew about Venus, the fact that the Mayans knew about Neptune, Pluto, Charon, and Xena. We didn't in 3,000 years and 4,000 years ago, and they discovered Neptune until 1843, Pluto till 1931, Charon to 2001, and Xena in 2003. And they knew about them, and they talked about them, and they described them. The point for where Hopis are saying the same thing, the mound builders in Ohio are saying the same thing. I think the point is to find a passion for a certain particular civilization and find out why you really want to search it out, like I love Mesoamerica and the Olmecs and that particular place, and match it up to other cultures to be able to truly design what it means to you. But like every one of us are saying, the cosmic wind is blowing. The shift is scientific, quantumly verified, mythology is in place, and the structures are there to remind us that 26,000 years has ended. And the dawn of the new age is here. And where do we take this new age? But I would look at Mesoamerica and how it links all the way from the Aztecs, Toltecs, and the native nation cultures to find that answer.
Just briefly, working on programs like Strange Universe and Mysteries from Beyond the Other Dominion, which was like the first show on the Sci-Fi Channel years ago. We did a lot of our stuff in Los Angeles. Some of the most interesting things about LA is that there's a gigantic tunnel system, actually, that can be accessed near the corner of 6th and Flower in downtown Los Angeles that stretches for miles. The Tongva Indians, which were the original Indians that settled the Los Angeles basin, the area where the gazebo on Alvera Street is as a great sacred